And joining us now, we have Cheyenne Pope, Research Fellow at the Institute for the American Future. She's also the co-organizer of the event Charlie Kirk Celebration of Life, taking place on his birthday on October 14th in Florida. So Cheyenne, thank you very much for joining us today. And as you already know, today marks the 1 month anniversary of Kirk's killing. Can you talk to us about this event in Florida that you helped to organize to honor him?
Yeah, of course, and thank you for having me. So this event was really meant to be, on his would-be birthday. I mean, many people in the Northwest Florida Panhandle, the four counties from Escambia to Walton County, are still really grieving. And while we've had all of our smaller community vigils and ceremonies, I really wanted to bring everybody together, all the Republican groups, all the lay people who are not really involved in politics, and come together and finish mourning and get started on working to ensure that our panhandle stays staunchly red, that Christian conservative ideals are still being pushed and still being fought for in our panhandle, in our schools, in our churches, in our communities. And the West Florida YRs really just felt passion for this event.
And Cheyenne, as you're already aware, the Senate has passed a resolution declaring October 14th as the National Day of Remembrance for Charlie Kirk. And on top of that, President Trump is expected to award Kirk a Presidential Medal of Freedom next week. How does that make you feel? What do you think of this? What does it show?
I'm very proud. I love President Trump, and I love that he's standing so strong for the memory of Charlie Kirk. It's absolutely a travesty that this happened in America today. We saw a lot of this political violence in the Democrats in the 60s. We thought we were past this, and unfortunately, we're not. And I'm so thankful to the president to acknowledge not only the life and work of Charlie Kirk, but what his presence and what his work meant for the country after his death. And this is a very important thing to do.
All right, so can you speak to as to what's been happening in Florida since Kirk's death regarding efforts to, educate young people and keeping them motivated and involved in this movement?
Well, everybody knows the insane rise of TPUSA applications for groups and charters in our universities and schools and high schools. But in Northwest Florida, a lot of people are on fire to get involved in the YR group and the RECs and the regular GOP groups, and it's really amazing. We have Charlie Kirk Memorial Highways in Florida, and I see billboards for Charlie Kirk everywhere I go. From Pensacola to Destin to Defuniak, north of Long County, and it's amazing. Just like the continual support, the continual solidarity around his life and message,
Why
and
do you think
everybody's
we're
just like on fire to get involved.
Cheyenne, why do you think we're seeing so much support? So many people paying their respects as well. What does that say about the impact that Charlie Kirk had and his legacy that he's leaving behind?
His whole life and all of his work was meant to unify, right? And to create leaders and everyday people and everyday young men. And we saw with the presidential election this past November, where Gen Z men really came out for the Republican Party, really came out for President Trump, and no other person can be accredited for that other than Charlie Kirk. And even my sister, her husband, really started to step up as a leader in their family, as a spiritual leader in their family after watching Charlie Kirk. So a lot of people are saying, wow, this man who stood for unity and civil debate and just God's love was killed ruthlessly. I need to step up. I need to get into the arena. I need to start being present for the things that I believe in.
And I like to point out as well, Cheyenne, these events, whether it's memorials or anything else, they're completely peaceful. There's no violence in these events.
There's absolutely none. And if there is any violence, it's the people protesting against Charlie Kirk's himself and people who like Charlie Kirk. It's really crazy. You know, we saw in 2020, after the death of George Floyd, excuse me, we saw 140 cities burn. We saw many people die just in the crosshairs of these rioters. After the death of Charlie Kirk, we've seen prayer, we've seen revival in the church, we've seen vigils, we've seen grassroots organization like nothing before. It's really amazing and a testament to who most of America really is.
And can I just ask you one more thing, Cheyenne?
Yeah.
So, what makes you still hopeful about the future of this movement and the country overall?
Well, the movement really is in essence the essence of America. And at the Institute for the American Future, we're very optimistic. We're very hopeful for what's going on. There's so much, there's a renaissance happening. And not just in political organizing, not just in biotech or life extension technology. There's a renaissance in the church. And we, for the United States to continue down and to fulfill the golden age, the Renaissance in the United States, we to get back to God. We need to get back to the fundamental Christian values that created this nation, and we're seeing that, and that just gives all of us at the Institute a very optimistic and very hopeful future decades from now.
Right, and with Erica Kirk as the CEO, I think Turning Point USA is in very good hands. And I
I
have
think so
tremendous
too.
confidence in her. I believe she's going to live up to what she said, that she's going to make this thing the biggest thing that the world has ever seen. All right, Cheyenne, thank you very much for talking to us today. Really a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.